Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome. Happy Friday. Hope you guys are having a beautiful, amazing day. Today is a little bit earlier than normal. Normally, I'm streaming on Twitch around, actually around 2 o'clock. But there is a Dead Space. What is it? The Sound of Fear Reimagined audio developer live stream. I personally am pretty excited about this. I know a lot of people, by the way, cheers to everyone. Cheers to you guys. Coffee time. I'm gonna go ahead and actually transition over. We can get this bad boy going. So, audio is extremely important when it comes to horror games. I feel like audio in general is kind of like an underappreciated medium when it comes to video games in general. But dude, it's might as well look up the Famitsu sales before the Dead Space is up. No, we're gonna do all that on Twitch later. I'm still gonna stream on Twitch around the normally scheduled time of 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's still going to happen. But what I wanted to go ahead and talk about is when it comes to Dead Space, the first one in particular, at least for me, was the best when it came to audio design, when it came to immersion and kind of like being in the Ishimura and being within that atmosphere. So there's a couple of things that I really want from this. There's a couple of things that I really want to see. First and foremost, I would love to see some form of just like a little bit more of what they're developing, a little bit more of like what they're working on, so that we can kind of like see a little bit more of the game itself and how good it looks. I know that the last time that they showed us something was a very like super basic, and that kind of, you know, it kind of got me hyped up, but now like I want more. And audio is like super important, don't get me wrong, but I kind of just want a little bit more in terms of what is going to be shown and how good this game is going to look in the long run. That's really what I want to kind of like go ahead and see, and hopefully we get something, man. I know audio is important. I know I kind of want to reiterate that, but I just want to see what is going to come out of things and whether or not it's going to be good or not. Oh, I am happy as well. Will Onyx be joining? No, Onyx will not be joining. He has to work. He has a 9-to-5 job. What's up, Seed? Welcome to the stream, bud. You of all people know how important audio design is. That's for sure. But I'm very excited for this, man. I cannot wait to see. There's Onyx. Onyx has joined in the stream. Onyx is in chat. He is there. What is up, man? Onyx is busy chatting on Discord. Hilarious. I'm actually like if I'm 100% honest with you, I completely and totally forgot that this stream was actually going to happen. I like my notification like popped up, and I was just like, oh shit. What's up, Jeffrey? Welcome to the stream, man. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, so we'll see. I'm excited to kind of like see what is going to happen, what is going to come in. Have my headphones on, just like they recommend. Early 2023 release. I'm not mad, and we'll let them take extra time on working on the game. Oh yeah, dude, like I'm already 100% like I'm okay with that. Six player animal. Did you visit the Berserk tribute in Elden Ring? Not yet. The furthest up north that I got, what was it? Oh my god, I just got there like last night. It's like, you know, where like that there's like this elevator that like takes you there. I went to like the other side of that. But no. Onyx, is that sarcasm? Which is a tribute. I wouldn't know. Like I need to read up on Berserk. When it gets delayed to 2024, it'd be fine, because otherwise EA would be doing the usual. I mean, I'm okay, Crystal. Like it's like they can take their time, and it seems like the director that's in charge of everything, plus with what we've seen with like non-sports EA titles and like multiplayer EA titles, they're kind of like I think they realize that they kind of like messed up. Best boss fight so far in ER. I would probably say Radon right now is probably like the most epic out of all the ones that I've like been to. I haven't beaten Radon, by the way. I think it's just like really epic how like it starts off and it kind of just like continues in and whatnot. Super cool stuff, man. Like very awesome. But I was streaming that last night on Twitch, and like I got so close, dude. I had like a quarter of health left, and it's so frustrating, so frustrating. Oh yeah, man, yeah. Maji, there's definitely going to be one. Starts in a minute and change. They announced it I think like a week ago, which I'm fine with that, man. Like I am okay with that. 100%. Give me information, and obviously like this is going to be more geared towards like audio, and I'm assuming like the immersive side of audio as well. Have my headphones on, so I'm excited to hear what's going to happen. And like there's like some subtle music that's like playing in like the background and stuff, so we'll hopefully we'll see and hear like some cool stuff. Oh yeah. Later, dude. I'm probably gonna once the stream is done, I'm probably gonna oh my god, Admiral, no dude, like it's good, like this game is like insane. You're good. First game is still so immersive after all these years. Can't wait to see how they improve upon it. Yes, I agree, Maji. Like the first game is to me like the most horror-esque of the Dead Space trilogy. Dead Space 2 was a nice balance between action and horror, and I think Dead Space 3 just kind of lost its identity a bit. It's still like an okay game, but it was very action heavy in comparison to the first two predecessors. I just think that Dead Space 1 just did such a phenomenal job, just like building up the horror tension and just everything within it. The music, like the layout of things, it's just everything. Like hearing the like in the vents and whatnot, like with the necromorphs, super cool stuff. Pulling the stream up in the background. Oh yeah. YouTube needs to support 5.1 audio. I wonder how like that would be. Oh, here we go. Okay, beyond teaser.mp4. I love how they have like the stuff up top. Is that like on purpose, or is that like a fuck up on their end? Audio occlusion.mp4, weapon comparison.mp4, a live system.mp4. So we're gonna learn about the live system and the music orchestra.mov. Yeah, it's probably a mess up. Is the audio all right, guys? Can you guys hear it pretty well for the trailer and whatnot? This is obviously what we've already seen. Probably the chapters could be. It's just like I wouldn't expect that to be like shown.
Bonjour à tous. Welcome to the second Dead Space.
Okay, I'm gonna knock that up a little bit on my end. Can you guys hear that or no? Because it could just be like my audio on my side. That's a little quiet, or is that just me?
Today, the focus of the stream is on audio. The sound effects, the music, the ambiences of the original Dead Space were astounding. It helped create an environment that was super immersive for the players.
So it's just me on my end.
It was done extremely successfully. Olivier today will explain how we're leveraging the existing content to build an even more immersive experience and enhancing the content that was there in the initial game. Keep in mind that just like last time, everything that you're going to see today is going to be gyms. It's work in progress. So you're going to see bugs. You're going to see missing animation, broken animation, art that's placeholder, and that's all normal.
So nothing is final.
Nothing's final. Okay. We're showcasing
gotta make sure that people know that nothing's final.
Make sure that we're receiving feedback and we're able to show you all the game and hear what you think about what we're making. So this is the purpose, and we want to see interactions on boards afterwards. So hopefully we're going to be able to read a lot of comments about audio following the stream. Today for the stream, we're also lucky to have one of our community council members that's joining us. So we have Jack Patillo with us.
God.
Hey, Jack.
I wish I could have like been in that community council.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you so much for having me today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited to represent the Community Council. For those of you who don't know, it's a group of people who have been huge Dead Space fans for a long time, and we get to yell at you guys, and you can shape the game as to how us hardcore Dead Space fans might want it, And I'm really, really excited today to see a final polished version of the game you've been promising us for a long time now. So it's gonna be cool to see it all working and 100% finished, right?
I see how they're laughing at it. They're like, yeah, this isn't finished. This is finished.
You got the message right on. All right, so
nailed it.
Ali, let's get this started with a first look at the high-level pillars.
Cool. So, hello everyone. I'm really thrilled and honored.
I wonder if this is going to be an hour long like last time.
And I have the opportunity to share with you some of the work in progress. As developer, it's great to be able to share that early with the community. So many thanks to everyone involved in making this happening. Special thanks to the Audio team. Okay, we've got a group of talented, very passionate designers. And as you will see with the upcoming examples, they are really committed to make that game an amazing and immersive experience. And, nice to have
This is really fucking quiet though.
Absolutely. Hey, Ollie, real quick, before we get into it, so you're the audio director of the game. So what exactly does that mean? Does that mean like you're the one making the noises, you're playing the keyboards, you're making the squishy sounds and recording it? Like what is your role exactly as audio director? Because that could mean literally anything.
But making squishy sound is always part of our background for sure. But as an audio director, my role is more to collaborate with Roman and Phil. And also all the...
I'm going to knock up the volume just a little bit.
And working with the Audio team too to make sure that...
to make sure that I can like actually hear what's going on.
So to help them being creative and making sure that they stay focused. So that also work towards like a Jira task and stuff like that, and making presentation also.
And making game sound with your mouth.
Yeah, always.
Okay, all right. See, so it isn't me.
No, never.
All right, I heard it and I was just kind of like, wow, this is a little low, right?
That's okay. It's gonna be fine.
Right? It's a little low.
A part of our job, Jack, is also to.
Let me knock that up a little bit.
Help the team understand
See how that like affects things. It's not me, so it's literally just a stream.
Talk about what we can do. Part of it is to look at our pillars in the game. So before we start with the cool stuff, I always like to see what is our thought process behind that. Where are we from?
Okay. That's real video game under the hood. Like it's PowerPoint, Jira and stuff. So starting with a PowerPoint, it's our daily job.
Sorry, had to turn on the mic.
Stuff,
I turned it up to the max on my end for the stream itself.
We need to make sure that we stay focused.
I'm gonna knock out my mic just a little bit, just so it evens out a little bit.
And for us, that means always start from there. Always look at the game first before we start a chapter. We play the chapter for the original before we start a feature. We look at the original data, not only the data, but also how it was made behind.
Everything sounds lighter at night.
Or behind the door, depends.
They have mic mixing issues.
Once you've got that, we put that in game the same way it was in Dead Space. And after that, that allows us to understand what is the part that is working and what are the parts that needs to be bonified, to have a slight bonus, to add here and there slight things.
Right.
Make sure that we
it's super low, dude.
Possible. So
super low.
Existing foundation and predefined sounds.
I mean, I could stack the audio. Like I can, but I don't know how like much that'll push it.
I appreciate that too, because I mean, obviously, like there's a lot of Dead Space fans out there that are so.
There might be an echo
if I do
that actually.
I love that you're not just tossing it. You're like that's the Bible. You start there and then you work on like how can we improve what we did, all those years ago. So I appreciate that a whole lot. I know a lot of other people do as well.
Yeah, the soundscape of Dead Space is very solid in the first place, so we need to make sure that we stick to it as much.
Yeah, this is live seed on their end.
So it's really cool. So quickly, let's have a look at what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at 4 features of audio in Dead Space. We're going to start on the technical side of it.
I agree, Maji.
With what we call environmental audio, or how does the sounds is playing in 3D around Isaac. Then we will have a quick glimpse at Isaac tools.
I should have done an
Dead
audio
Space
test
weapon.
before streaming.
We're going to look at the Alive system. The Alive system is the non-verbal reaction of Isaac. Isaac breathing, his heartbeat. And then finally, we're going to look at all of this together in-game and ambient mood. We're going to finish with
Space has no sound now.
I just got to say, I love the fact that it says ambiance over a severed hand floating through space covered in blood. You know, like you go to like a massage parlor or something, it's like you hear like forest sounds and nice nature sounds or the ocean, and it's like
Sonic
no,
25th anniversary stream all over.
severed
Yeah, pretty
hands
much.
is our ambience going on here. That's, you guys have nailed it.
Severed ends, gore floating in zero-G. stuff.
Gets the tone right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, that's the tone.
And creepy singing. So, you know,
You're probably right.
that's-
See, they're
gets you
probably
into the
using
mood.
one
I mean,
shotgun
thinking-
mic for all of them, which is not smart.
All right, let's start.
Unless they have a
with
boom
sound
mic,
space.
which even then isn't smart.
So sound and space, what do we mean by that? Just before we start, obviously I talked about the
What's up,
environment.
Sean? Yeah, they
It's
should have.
also the distance filtering, the obstruction, and the occlusion. So Jean-François, Mike, and Diego put together a video that will explain and showcase our approach.
He could also be a
towards
very quiet person.
environmentalism.
Let's watch the video.
Okay, let's listen. Occlusion and obstruction.
Hi everyone, this is Jeff Tremblay, lead sound designer and lead audio tech on Dead Space Remake. Today, we will be showing some of the technical improvements we have made for the remake. Later in this video, we will have Mike Dominiak, technical sound designer, and Diego Marayo, senior audio programmer, showing you in-game example, comparing between DS1 and the remake, as well as going over the technical implementation behind the scene. But before
I
going
like
to
it.
the details, I would take a bit of time to go over some of the basic audio concepts we will be referring in this video. The occlusion is when a sound is behind a wall, a door, or a large object that completely blocks the direct and reflected indirect signals.
Mm-hmm.
In this example, the sound cannot reach the listener, so we say that the sound is completely occluded or blocked. In Dead Space, most walls are thick metal, so if the sounds are outside the room and the door is closed, so any exterior sounds would be silenced. In other cases, we will have glass windows on which we can tell the system to let through a little bit of the sound.
I don't know how long
So
it's
the
for,
result
Maji.
will be a
I'm assuming in an
muffled
hour.
filtered direct signal and a muffled indirect diffuse signal. For the obstruction, the difference is that some of the signal could potentially reach the listener. In this example, the sound is behind an object or wall, but some indirect signal could reach the listener by bending around the corners of the object or by being reflected on the walls. The result will be
That
a
would be
muffled
insane
direct
for,
signal
like,
and
surround
clear
sound.
unfiltered indirect signal. The portals.
Ooh,
We
3D
refer
audio.
to portals as volumes we place on doors or placed at specific locations in the levels. And at runtime, the occlusion node made by Diego select the most logical portal to play the sound from. Along with sending the corrected position, it also sends the correct path distance for the sound to reach the listener. The result
Okay.
is a more accurate sound positioning and distance attenuation and filtering. Alright, let's
Alright,
now
here we go.
listen to how these concepts applies in the context of the game.
Let's start with reminding ourselves what the original Dead Space sounded like. Looking at the headbanger corridor, you can hear as soon as the door opens, the sound is coming from the right side of the screen. The sound should realistically be traveling down the corridor to Isaac, but standing here, you can actually hear the sound coming through the wall.
Okay, alright.
As we come
I hope
around
you
the
guys are
corner,
listening with
you will
headphones, 'cause
notice
you can really
minimal
tell.
audible changes to the sound position and obstruction. In the remake, there will be much more noticeable mix changes when standing here and the sound is not obstructed, to when I move around the corner and the sound is actually blocked.
Very easily.
Now, let's take a look at our in-progress remake.
Zelda Switch headphones, let's go.
You can hear the sound is now coming from the left, at the end of the corridor. The orange boxes you are seeing are portals we placed in the level, and the lines between them are the path the sound is traveling to get to Isaac.
Wow. Holy shit. That is so cool. Wow.
We lock the
Dude, that
sound
is so
to a
freaking
third
cool.
of the portal from the direction it is coming from to keep the correct directionality.
Dude, this is so cool.
We also use this same system for sound passing through to an attached room.
Classic. I agree, Sean.
As the door closes, we start applying mix changes to the sound. When the door is fully closed, we move the sound source to the window and apply even heavier mix changes.
Oh my god. Dude, this is going to be so good. Like, this is I love it. I genuinely love it. This is going to be such a good remake.
If you did not twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so
I hope they don't either, Maji. I hope that Jedi Fallen Order showed them like the potential of doing like a really good game without that shit in it.
Since this room has no window, we are cutting the sound completely as the door closes. We have the ability to choose what sounds are let through the doors, so not every sound will be culled if we do not want them to be.
Wow. Oh my god. So that's what it seems like, Seed.
The way the system works is by creating a map of the areas that are reachable by the player considering the surrounding openings like doors and windows. Then, when a new sound starts playing, we can check in the map we have previously generated if the sound is audible and what is the shortest path to Isaac.
So,
we update this map at regular intervals but much less often than the sounds themselves, because it's expensive and its data does not change very often. But having this information allows us to calculate a more physically accurate position of the sound very quickly.
You are correct in saying that, Seed. My hope is that when they actually talk about having obstructions in between the audio, like, I mean, based on what I've seen, like, it's still freaking cool.
Seeing that those kind of tools being used in a game, I know they probably have in some other games, but
predetermined maps,
you guys to develop.
I want to see what happens with things that like actually like move around within the game,
but that was one of
and how the audio would be affected by that.
Together as a production to say how do we make sure that we've got a 3D audio that stands for the current gen platform. So we really put a lot of effort and a lot of focus on how does the audio play back inside the Ishimura and how we're going to be able to filter that to make sure that it's believable.
One thing that is really important also in terms of gameplay into Dead Space in the experience, it's the physical reality of that world. That the Ishimura feels like an actual place. You have all those physics-based powers, you can cut the necromorph, and all of those things needs to feel real. And one thing we wanted to enhance on audio was to give the same type of approach to the physics of the actual sounds and how they reverberate on in the ship, etc. To really make that
I did not play
place,
Dante's Inferno.
Something living in which you can believe.
I was intrigued, but I did not play it.
Nice. I mean, I'm just excited by like all of these new things going into the game that I never thought of before. Now, I know like one thing, Ollie. So like when I hear a car drive down the street, I can always hear the bass of the car before anything else. Is that something that you guys can do in the game, like with this tool, where you can actually make it where like certain frequencies hit you sooner rather than later, or like they travel further than other frequencies?
Yeah, we've got the choice for each sound or group of sound to apply a certain value to the obstruction and occlusion, as Mike mentioned in the video, but also to filter through distance differently based on the frequency spectrum. So we can apply a curve that will mimic how sounds will be influenced by the distance.
So wait till you hear the Leviathan growling in the depth of the Ishimura. That will be fucking awesome.
It'll be fucking awesome. I love it.
Oh man, I'm pumped to see everything you guys are working on right now, and it's just like even something like I would never think about that stuff.
I'm okay with
audio
that.
Occlusion, and I know
audio,
you know,
in
like,
general,
is
has
that
been
something like
very
Roman, is that something
underappreciated
you
in the
guys are
gaming
working
space.
on to use to like maybe manipulate a player where like they hear something coming from one side, but they're actually being attacked from another side? Like I know like head fakes are always been a big thing in Dead Space. Is that something you guys are going to take advantage of?
Definitely something that we want to use to make the player believe something's coming in a threat in a certain direction. So it's more levers in our toolbox to make sure that we're able to surprise the player and catch them off guard.
That's what I'm curious about, like how they're going to do that, because
very cool. All right, Well, I'm excited.
I'll
to
share
see
my
more.
thoughts
What
like
else we
at
got
the
next?
But let's talk a bit about we mentioned it at the beginning, the tools of Isaac. Because in Dead Space, most of the weapons are not necessarily classic weapons. They are more like tools. Because Isaac, as an engineer, is basically using those tools to go through his journey. So our main challenge here is how do we keep the personality of the weapon of the original, but add distinctive detail that
Maji, they did, and I believe Xbox did the same thing as well, which is good. I like that.
Element. So everything you will see right now, it's based on that train of thought. We've got 2 prototypes. Once again, it's prototype. We did collaborate with Stefan and Paul from Sweet Justice for this redesign. And both examples, you will first hear Dead Space 1 original and then our remodel prototype.
Cool.
So if everyone is okay with that.
So once again, it's really work in progress for everything, visual, VFX, models, especially animation.
They want to make sure that we know that this is still in the works.
Early, there's a lot missing, so just a quick disclaimer.
Hello, I am Michael Dominic, the technical audio artist on Dead Space. I will be showing you the in-progress plasma cutter and pulse rifle today.
Oh my god.
Let's get started with the
No,
plasma
thank you.
cutter and have a listen to what we are remaking.
So this is a 2-minute 50-second segment. So this is the original. What's up, JD? Welcome to the stream, dude. Clearly, Crystal. There's a nice.
Now let's have a listen to where we are at with our updated version.
Much more detail. That just sounds different. Sounds much more detailed.
When we are designing a weapon, we approach them in many different layers. All of the red and blue boxes outlined in this picture represent another layer that is being played on each shot of the weapon.
Jesus.
Now let's take a listen to some of these layers one at
It's
a
like
time.
looking at like
so we can really hear each element
video
that's being
editor,
played.
looking at the timeline. So it's showing you the individual layers, and that's what they stack up to finalize the audio that comes out of it. That's actually kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. I like stuff like this. That's cool.
That's
cool.
all we have for the plasma cutter today, but let's take a sneak peek at comparing the original pulse rifle with our in-progress version.
work's emailing me. Story of my life. Do you hear the that's out there? I know the original sounds completely like, but remember this is what do they have like 528 megabytes of RAM?
Yeah, we're not hearing Jack. That's
What? Sorry, guys. I apologize. What does Isaac have against those walls? He seems very upset at those walls. Did they do something to him or talk smack about his mom or something?
He was hearing the necromorphs on the other side.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it'll help. Seed, did you play the original?
Shoot a hole right through it. Now, Ollie, that's fascinating to me. The idea of so many layers of audio just for one little sound bite. Is there ever a point where it's like there's too much audio, like we have too many layers going on right here, or is it kind of just keep throwing things at it?
No, it's clearly a point. We always reach a moment where even for a single feature like a weapon or for the entire mix, where the amount of frequency.
Oh yeah, see, you got to give it a go, man.
Or the other. So
that's a game that I will always happily go back to, but now that they're doing a remake, like,
the audible frequency
can't wait.
spectrum of each element, and make sure that they have a purpose in the overall view of the game. So it's about how do we mix your element individually or at the granular level, but how do they interact with the world?
You'll be fine.
That's cool, and like it's fascinating
Just
to me
go for
that
the limbs.
like that the you know the plasma cutter, all the weapons will sound different based on the location you're shooting them in, right?
Yeah, because that's
agreed,
basically what
Maji.
we're trying to do. If you're in a big room, you will have like, but not only the weapon, but everything that the weapon will cause, impact on the walls or impact on the necromorph, to have the reflection and the reverb of each individual room.
No, that's cool. And one thing I love that you guys have done now, you could really tell in the layers, was the fact that you have the mechanical components of the plasma cutter. You can hear like that physical, like the metal scratching on metal and stuff, as well as the kind of more sci-fi, like the pew-pew type noises and stuff.
I wasn't excited enough. I'm sorry, Rain. I apologize.
That, like thinking about that,
never gonna make it into those
something on something else. You kind of get a reference point at some point.
Playlists.
What do you have to reference? Is there anything that exists on planet Earth that you could reference as a plasma cutter that fires like bolts like this, or is it just something you just made up?
Well, it's obviously something that we looked at first. We look at Dead Space. We try to isolate the iconic element of the plasma cutter to make sure that it still sounds like the original weapon somehow. But after that, it's adding element here and there. Obviously, we look a lot at different tools, all those mechanical elements.
I agree, Maji. Rain is just being Rain. He's just being silly.
Add those little details here and there to make them feels like they are mechanical, they are turning. It's actually like
Demon's Souls reaction compilation.
We have a lot of discussion and really serious design meetings about thinking about how would it sound to actually use a power drill in someone's arms, and what would be that sound, that feeling. So it's a real serious.
Oh, everybody remembers that one, dude.
Like bring in the intern. Let's see what it sounds like. Come on, guys. That sounds.
That's what I'm hoping for, Rain.
You've talked about a couple times throughout the stream here about going back and using some of the material from the very first game. Are you using actual like sound files from the first game, or is everything being completely remade, or how does that work?
Our first idea there is always start with the original, so we dig, and we did a lot of archaeological search into the game data, but not only the game data, the backup that the team had at the time. We look at how they build stuff. We've got lots of original.
I can appreciate that.
Source. So it's always to look at
that they're basing a lot of their decisions off the original source.
From that, because sometimes we don't have everything. We've got only the end result, and is the end result is what we need necessarily, or we need to look at redoing something that is similar. So it really depends of the feature itself, and
I don't know.
The result of
people in chat were like, "This is going to come out with the RTX 4000 series."
It's a great way for us to have a
PC
solid starting point that stays true to the original, and from there be able to see and determine where do we want to enhance the experience. And
I like Axiom Verge 1.
It's the same thing that we're doing.
So one place.
I love
good,
the idea
Metroidvania.
using archaeology, like the idea of like an archaeologist of video games, and wearing a fedora and a bullwhip going through and pulling out all the old files. That's exactly pretty rad. It's something you don't think about, but I guess I've got hard drives I know around here that are probably 10 years old that I don't know what's on them. So I imagine that was a huge process with this.
Oh yeah.
That was a fun process too, because it's always cool to see,
Fun
like,
process
hey,
to
okay,
like
find
comb
stuff.
through everything
Sometimes you
and try to like
gold,
find
you do
audio
that
files and
too.
stuff.
You
Oof.
find things that you didn't.
He was here.
know,
I don't know where he
still
went, but
existing, so
he
it's
was
really
here.
An interesting process for sure.
That's so cool.
All right,
Man.
so let's move on actually to the next component, Ollie, for the Alive system.
So
The Alive
we're
system.
gonna put ourselves in Isaac boots, as I mentioned. Alive
You mean
system
search,
is the
action,
breathing
discovery, jump
of,
and run? Yeah, that
Isaac
one.
and his heartbeat, and we're going to look at that with on a video with our senior sound designer Terry Calico.
His heartbeat?
My name is Terry Calico, and I'm the senior VO designer on Dead Space. In the original Dead Space, Isaac's breathing and heartbeat was such an integral part of the player's connection with Isaac.
Agreed.
In building immersion and emphasizing the horror experience. Breathing is a huge part of Dead Space, and horror films in general, that enhance the feeling of being alone and vulnerable. For Dead Space, we're looking back at the core functionality of the original, and not only bringing that experience forward, but we're finding ways we can improve it to a level that exceeds expectations in today's generation of games. In the original Dead Space, you would hear Isaac's breathing change and heartbeat ramp up over time when sprinting, when low on health, low on oxygen, during combat, and spike for jump scares or scripted events. All of that will be there. A couple of improvements, for example. In the original, when Isaac was sprinting or injured, you would hear additional grunts to emphasize his level of exertion play simultaneously over top of the base breathing rate.
Right.
Exertions, such as melee and stomp, also played over top of the breathing rather than interrupt it.
Okay.
If you listened carefully, you were hearing two voices at the same time. The exerted breaths didn't interject the base breathing. For Dead Space, we're building a system that supports transitioning respiratory rates through fatigued and low health states seamlessly. As another example, in the original, when Isaac was gasping for air while running out of oxygen, exiting the vacuum of space or using an oxygen refill would instantaneously and unnaturally revert Isaac back to a calm breathing state, as if nothing had happened.
Exiting vacuum.
Oh, so they're gonna make it so he's like.
For Dead Space, you can expect to hear Isaac catch his breath as he recovers from a lack of oxygen.
Let's hear.
Let's have a listen to this prototyped in game with some placeholder content.
Okay. That sounds pretty realistic. I mean, I've never been in
Isaac
space
catches his breath, you hear it transition back
and running out of
smoothly
oxygen, so, but I'm assuming
into
that's
the
how it
base
would be like.
breathing cycle. For Dead Space, we're building
No, I
what is
didn't.
called the Alive system.
I've thought about
It
doing voice work in the
encompasses
past,
all
though.
components of Isaac's breathing and heart rate, vocal exertions, and dialogue, influenced by a variety of driving gameplay features. The limbic system is the part of the brain that controls behavioral and emotional responses, such as anxiety and fear. When you watch a horror movie or play a scary game, the limbic system can trigger a release of adrenaline into the body, causing a physical response, such as increased heart rate. In our game, adrenaline,
Which is
derived
why I
from
wear a
various
heart
values
rate
driven by
monitor
external
when I'm
factors
playing
that have a
spoopy
direct
games
influence on Isaac's
on
heart rate
Twitch.
BPM. External
During
factors that act
Spooktober.
as adrenaline are the combat difficulty value, scripted events and jump scares, Isaac's fatigue level, Isaac's
Look at
oxygen
this stuff,
level,
dude.
and Isaac's health. We want Isaac to reflect how anyone would physically react in the scenario he's placed in, and vice versa, use that to influence the player to feel the same response. For Isaac's scripted dialogue lines, where the player maintains full control of Isaac, we will have 3 variations of each line to pick from based on his
That's
current
not good.
state. A normal version, a fatigued version,
The
and an
stream is
injured
fine
version.
on my end.
Let's have a listen
Bit
to
rate's
how
fine,
Isaac's
so I'm
fatigue
assuming that's on
level
YouTube's
or
end.
being in a low health state can impact Isaac's scripted dialogue in game.
Nicole? It's me. Nicole? It's me.
Holy crap, that is so cool.
Nicole. It's me.
That is so cool.
Making up Isaac's vitals are his heart rate, respiratory rate, oxygen level, and health.
I'm guessing,
As Isaac
see.
is 43 years old, I studied average heart and respiratory rates for his age group at different levels of fitness to land on Isaac's base heart rate of 70 BPM to build up from. As heart rate increases, his respiratory rate increases as well.
I don't know what my base
I broke
BPM
down
is.
the respiratory rates into 7 breathing cycles mapped out across 7 correlating heart rate BPM zones. Each cycle also has fatigued and injured
We get to see Isaac.
All right,
We get to
let's
hear
have a listen
Isaac's
to
pain
how
more
Isaac's
clearly, not
breathing
see.
is behaving in game. One thing to note, the breathing and exertion samples that you'll be hearing in game are not gunner right. These are placeholder samples that we recorded for testing all of this functionality out in
I'm
game
guessing, Maji.
as we were building it. And here on screen is our Alive monitor. This is some debug information that we've put together to see Isaac's current breathing cycle, his heart rate, what his breathing state is, if he's inhaling or exhaling, what his fatigue level is, his oxygen level, his health, and the current combat intensity.
Wow.
And if we have Isaac's sprint here, over time, you'll
I'm sure
start
that
to
it's
see
3
his
times
fatigue level
the pay
increase.
seed. Gotta fast forward.
And when Isaac's fatigue level gets past a certain threshold, you'll start to hear fatigued breaths, exerted breaths start to mix in with his
course,
regular
Crystal.
base breathing rate.
Gotta make sure that Isaac stays alive. There's 2 sequels after this. That heart rate, though. Inhale, exhale. Dude, that's so freaking cool. One for swimming and one for standing still. Yeah. For like all of like the voicing and the acting and whatnot.
And when
Super
Isaac
cool stuff.
stops sprinting, you'll see his fatigue
I don't
level
think it's a
start
bit
to
over
go
the top.
down.
I think this is
His heart
perfectly
rate will
fine for
come
like a horror
down,
game.
And his respiratory rate will slow down as well.
Like having that, like, are you talking about the audio level or are you talking about having so much attention to detail in terms of his heart rate?
Here we have Isaac in a very low health state. He's injured. And when he moves around in this state, we start to introduce little winces
louder
of
than it should
pain
be.
mixed into his breathing cycle.
Oof. That sounds so painful.
And what's really great about the way we've built this system is that Isaac can be in both an injured state and fatigued state at the same time. So hearing those injured winces, those fatigued breaths mixed in with his regular breathing actually sounds quite natural.
Dude sounds like he's in pain. Right? That's what I'm thinking.
And wrapping up the Alive system, we have exertions. These are single one-off exertion
Maybe you
events
see.
that interrupt or interject between base breathing loops.
Of course,
Now,
Crystal.
melee,
Anything
stomp,
without like
hit
looking at it
reactions,
can sound
or
wrong.
death. Exertions, for the most part, will end in exhales and restart the breathing loop back up on an inhale. However, the breathing system will have the flexibility to have the option to start the breathing loop back up on an exhale or inhale, depending on the content. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek into some of the things we're doing with audio to make Isaac come alive.
Man,
All right.
That is wild.
That is
amount
crazy.
Of work
That's
and
like an
thought
insane
to
amount of
go
detail.
into. You're developing a hypothalamus for a video game character. That's incredible. And I got to say, Isaac should probably maybe start the Couch to 5K program. He needs to work on that stamina build-up, I think, right there. Now, Ollie, do you have any idea how many like breaths are in this game? Obviously, there's different variations of it, but like how many inhale, exhales do you think have been recorded or are going to be recorded for Dead Space?
Yeah, as Terry mentioned in the video, right now it's all temp asset. that we recorded, but we're expecting Gunner to be out of breath anytime soon. Because there's a
That's
lot
not
of
going to be
detail.
easy, actually, because he's in a really, really good shape. The guy has a,
Oh,
has
yeah?
a real, has a real cardio.
Now, who gets to tell Gunner that he has to do 3 versions of every single line of dialogue in the game? Does he know that yet, or is that something you're going to be like, here's
I'm
the
sure it
script
was in the contract.
and the second version of the script
Like,
and
we're
the
gonna pay
third
you this
version of the
much.
script? Have fun. See you in a few days.
That was part of the deal, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It was part of the
He's gonna
deal.
be out of breath when he's going to record. He's going to have fun on the treadmill.
Okay, that's good, man. That is wild. Like that's stuff that you never think about, and it's one of those things that
Right.
when you guys do it in such a high quality fashion, you don't think about it. It just feels natural, and you've done such a good job with that so far. And just this early
Exactly.
look. So I can only
Exactly.
imagine what it's going to be like when it's final polished version of the game, which we're very close to, right? Right, gents? We're just almost done, almost ready.
Not yet. That's,
Soon,
Okay.
but,
Lot of
like,
months.
yeah, it's still all pre-alpha, and yeah, there's still a lot of work left, but it's heading in the right direction. That's for sure.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Absolutely. I mean,
first
everything
pass
we've
in what
seen,
you've
like,
seen.
I've been excited to see like the progress that we've seen. So from the community team, we've been watching this since
Almost like
before
breathing
announcement,
itself.
and just
Exactly.
to see how far it's made
Exactly.
over the
That-
course of the months we've
that's
been part of it.
the
has been
goal.
incredible, and I'm psyched
To make it
that
feel
you guys
as
are
natural
showing
as
off
possible,
some of the
you
stuff that we
know?
get to see early to the larger community, because Dead Space fans are rabid. And any little like nugget of morsel we can get
take
is,
it and
is
fucking
very
run with it,
exciting.
man.
And so I'm psyched that you guys are sharing this with the larger crowd. So, ooh, yeah. Now what do we got next? What do we got next? I want to see more.
Let's share a bit more then.
A bit more then we're gonna go in game anytime soon. But just before we go in game,
The ambience is that I think
we're
is
gonna
pretty
quickly
important.
talk about one of the elements that is super
And music.
important, obviously, for the
Yeah,
entire
actually.
Dead Space experience. It's the music. Okay, it provides a very amazing effect in Dead Space 1. The score from Jason Graves is amazing, and it was well
Agreed.
praised by both critic and fan. It used
I know.
dark, organic, orchestral music that dynamically change at runtime based on gameplay parameters. Super effective at setting up the mood of being responsive to specific
Agreed.
game stimuli. So for us, I bring back the pillars that we talked about from the beginning to like demonstrate that they are applied all over the place for us. What does it mean to be true to the original? It means that we're gonna reuse both the way the music was playing, but also the original score.
That's good.
But once again, as for all the other feature, we're looking for elements that we would like to add as a bonus, as an enhanced experience. So for that, we would like the music of Dead Space to evolve with the narrative, to change, to support the story. And for that, we're working with our composer, Trevor Gurikis. And fun fact, we're just out of a recording 2 weeks ago. We did a cool recording, and we've got a little glimpse for you.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's so cool.
Now, why
I used to be in
are violins
orchestra
the
when I was in
scariest
school, man, so I
instrument
see stuff like that and I'm
exists?
just like,
that's
ah,
it's like
that's awesome.
Immediately your skin starts crawling because it's like, I don't like this. Something's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
See,
clearly something about the strings that makes this a bit creepy right away, that's for sure. And the way that has been used there helped quite a lot. But we've got
Violins,
other,
violas, cellos,
tools
like they're
in our
all
back pocket to scare
amazing.
people with music. We've got plenty of
Exactly,
little things
Marty.
coming up.
use of real
I
instruments
can't wait to
it
see
makes a
more of that.
difference.
And I love the fact that you have different elements of it, so you can manipulate that and play different things at different times to really mess with your brain. That's
'cause
very very cool.
Clearly, what you just saw is the string section, but we've got also like we can record the brass, the perks separately, and after that, it's the same way as the weapon. Basically, we record in layers, so we can play back in layers. In certain places, you will hear only certain element, and after that, dynamically,
or a
layers are
track with
playing,
the
we put all those
ukulele.
things together
Let's go.
and then fluctuated with the gameplay.
That's so awesome. Okay, well,
Yes,
speaking of
especially
putting
the fish
everything
version.
together, I think now everyone wants to see maybe some like gameplay, like all of this kind of squished together.
Is there going to be
in
some
a live,
gameplay?
demo, perhaps? Is that something we can do?
guess that's where we are now.
That's definitely where we're going to switch. And again,
All right, let's see.
Same old disclaimers, right? Everything's final, Jack. That's it.
Everything's alpha,
final,
like
polish, ready to go,
Not at
ready to ship.
Everything that we're
Send
showing
it out.
again today, it's first pass in terms of visuals, animation, even lighting, etc. There's still a long way
they
to
have
go
to, like,
before,
you know, let us
polishing,
know that
finishing
it's still in the
game
works.
experience. But still, we wanted to give you a glimpse at where we are today and how do all those elements we talk about today actually converge together to participate to enhance the Dead Space experience.
You can already kind of like hear the music in the background. Okay. I hope you guys are listening to this with headphones on, because you could hear that water. Look at the lighting. Look at this shit. Oh. Don't go to the air vent, dude. Stop. No stop. Okay, all right. I would have stopped. Probably Maji. Oh, I want more!
That's amazing. I love it. It's so great. I love watching developers do playthroughs because you guys do those slow pans and look arounds that are very dramatic and very, very pretty. Where meanwhile, I'm going to be playing the game just running from spot to spot, trying not to get murdered. So I appreciate that. That looks incredible. Congratulations, guys.
It looks absolutely amazing.
We heard a whole lot of stuff going on there.
I
think we even heard like violins at one point. Do you know how many layers of audio across gunfire and like just the general creak of the ship and music? Like how many layers of audio can be playing at one time?
Oh, there's a lot of layer that could play at runtime, and this is the magic of dynamic mixing right there. It's like we establish, as developer, we establish rule in which like, hey, when those conditions apply, then certain things will change dynamically at runtime. So in the end, it's the player that will provide the end result. So we're trying to just applying certain rules that say like, hey, when those conditions arrive, then this will lower 3 dB, the music will rise a certain amount. So it depends really of the gameplay. There's a lot of layers. So we don't have the choice. As I explained earlier, it's like the frequency range is that wide. And when lots of frequency just add on, at one point it's too much. So we need to choose where you put your focus, basically.
It depends on what's on screen, how close to the player they are, all those kind of things.
That makes sense.
And I mean, I imagine there's like a lot of math in there too. I never thought math would be a big part of audio, but I guess so. It's absolutely incredible. And
music theory is
the
a
way that all
mathematical
layers
equation.
together and the music and how it all comes. It's so well done.
Dead Space is a somewhat linear game.
It adds such a
Dead
cool
Space
element to the game.
Is a linear game.
And just immediately just immerses you in the whole thing, and it's fantastic. And now
I
just
don't
the
know. I'm
idea
assuming
of
that
like that room and just the general noise of it. Ollie, do you go to sleep at night and that's all you can hear? Like, are you just surrounding yourself with this kind of audio? Like, did you spend a lot of time in submarines? Are you used to this at this point?
They're also adding elements from Dead Space 2 to Dead Space 1.
So he doesn't know, but...
No, actually, obviously, we're passionate people,
so cool.
So there's something that we always think about. So it happened many times that you hear a sound and saying that would be perfect for that feature, but that's a part of our life, and it's really cool to have the chance to work on that project that drive that passion. So really.
Cool.
All right. Well,
it's everything I've heard so far sounds fantastic.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Kudos to everybody on the team, Montreal and everywhere in the world for their hard work. Yeah. Still a long way to go, but
definitely we need to do a huge shout out to the team. We have a lot of people that are extremely passionate in the work, and it shows when we're starting to put all the pieces together. We only saw a glimpse of that work today, but there's a lot more coming, and it's actually something that I wanted to say today, that we're going to do another dev stream in just a couple of weeks / months, early May. We're going to do a follow-up to this dev stream with an art live stream. Yeah, I see your hand, Jack. I'll get to you. But just like we're going to do an art live stream in just a couple of weeks, early May, where we're going to have Mike Yazijan, our art director, that's going to be with us, having a first look at art. Well, I think Ollie's just set the bar pretty high, so great work, Ollie. And now I'll get to your question, Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack down here in Austin. I know you guys are up there. You said like we're getting close. Can you give us a general range, maybe, or as close as you can get to like when we can get our hands on? I know this is the gold final version of the game we've been watching now, but like maybe the final version of the game when you're ready to put it on shelves. So when can we see Dead Space in our house?
The final version of it. Well. We want to make sure that we're in a place where the game that we're going to deliver is going to be delivering on the expectations of fans, and that's what's most important. So right now, we'll say early next year.
Me too.
We have a date in mind. We want to make sure that everything converges for this. We're actually just a couple of weeks away from being able to do our first full walkthrough of the game.
We're not even alpha yet.
Exactly. We're still pre-alpha, but we believe that we're going to be in a solid position to be able to do the proper polish, the proper debug, and to meet the date that we have in mind. But for now, I'll say early next year, Jack, to your question.
Early next year.
All right.
I'll take early next year, man.
Nebulous in the future, so I appreciate that.
I'll take early next year.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, Roman, for participating in DevStream.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure that these questions were already like
I hope that you enjoyed what you saw today
determined.
and everything that we've showcased. Please participate in comments. We want to see your thoughts. We want to see what we did right, what we did wrong, hopefully not too much, and hear what you think.
Crystal doesn't like the volume of the heartbeat. Get it right.
Thanks a lot, everyone, and hope you have a great, fantastic day.
All right. Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka. So the only thing that I have to say about this, make it louder. The stream overall. Let me go ahead and transition over. So the big thing that I do like about this overall experience is that there is the way that they're approaching the audio in this game. I think it's going to break what people expect. It's going to subvert expectations when it comes to people's idea. Like there's with audio, there's like this game logic that comes to it that we as gamers, people that have been playing video games for such a long time, we have gotten used to the fact that when we hear like a character that is far away, we know that, oh, this is where the enemy is, and like I just need to find my way through this maze, which is the corridors on the Ishimura, to finally get to said character. And that kind of like sets up an expectation for the player to expect said character or enemy or whatever in said location. With the way that they're approaching audio, it changes everything, because we are not looking at things from a video game logic. but more from a realistic approach. It's almost like, you know, people said earlier that like when you don't think about the audio and it feels natural to that point, then it's just okay. I'm playing a game. I'm experiencing it in its entirety, and it feels realistic, which leads towards a much better immersion effect while playing the game in comparison to how it is without it. So that is kind of like my big main takeaway from everything that was shown. There obviously the amount of detail, the amount of layers that they have with the weapons and the ambiance and things that are happening within the game. It seems freaking cool, man. Let's hope they don't get too constrained with the whole remake thing. This could bring a lot of cool new stuff. No, Seed, like they're not like remaking it in that sense. Like they are, if I understand you correctly, they are essentially looking at it and they're taking things, mechanics and that were already implemented in the franchise, and they're bringing all of that. Well, I wouldn't say all of it, but the majority of like the good stuff alongside with some new things. Again, this is based off of like the initial developers live stream where they talked about it and they showed like way pre-alpha stuff, and they're like bringing it to the first one while like revisiting Ishimura and everything. It's cool stuff. Yeah, I would say, Maji, like I would say a reimagining of it. Like they're literally like taking the layout of things, and again, this is based off of what they've shown us so far, and they are essentially they're remaking it. It's not going to be a 1-for-1 remake. This is not Demon Souls on the PlayStation 5. This is more of like we're taking the original. We are remaking it and rebuilding it using the original assets as like a guideline that they're staying true to, and they're just building it, bringing it to modern audiences while adding mechanics that were in sequel titles to Dead Space 1. It's cool stuff. What defines a remake? Well, a remake is when you take a game and you rebuild it, you remake it. It's not a remaster. That much we've seen, because they've added, even with what we saw in the original developer live stream, they've added so many effects. They've added so many, like they've remade textures. They've added different layers on things. They've added different lighting. They've added all sorts of effects into the game. Now what we experienced was the remaking of the audio that was there. They took what was there. They were like, okay, so this is how this is. All right, let's take that, make it our own, and build upon it. So it's cool stuff. People always get remasters and remakes mixed up, even to this day. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it is what it is. But I think Crystal is being somewhat facetious with her statement. So anyways, guys, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to eat some lunch. And then I'm going to hop onto Twitch. Twitch.tv/thegamingresume to have coffee with Rudy. Maybe talk a little bit more about this. Look at what else has been happening in the gaming scene. And yeah, I will see you guys over there. So follow us if you haven't. Links in the description below. And I will see you guys on the next one. The next one, guys. Peace.